Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Steel Force Welding and Forge. Today, my friends, I have an unboxing, demonstration, and setup video for you. We're going to be taking a look at the Gongyi USA 6 kilogram melting furnace. Okay folks, before we get started, I want to take a minute to thank everyone who has watched my videos and subscribed to my channel. Because of you fine folks, I have been able to finally monetize my channel. And I have started generating revenue, and I've generated enough to purchase this here microphone. As I've promised in my past videos, any revenue that I gain from this channel will be directly reinvested into it to make higher quality videos. This microphone here is the first step. I'm thinking next step, probably lighting. And then someday down the road, maybe even a better camera. So, thank you everyone from the bottom of my heart. It truly does mean a lot to me. With that being said, let's get to the unboxing. And also, I apologize for not having the welding videos up yet. I promise guys, they are coming. I just want to make sure I do them the right way. I want to make sure these are some really good videos for you folks. So let's go ahead, with that out of the way, and unbox this bad boy. So right away, it looks like we have some thread tape and a T-nut. Here is our pressure valve or regulator. I'm sorry, not pressure valve, regulator. It's a bit rough. You know, a lot of hammer marks. Ah, geez, some kind of sharp edges too. So here is the instructions. Here is the lid. And this guy is made out of stainless steel, which is kind of nice. Those hinges are a bit rough, but whatever. So we've got our fireproof blanket. Now, they claim this is stainless. Let's see if that's actually true. Okay, I'm getting nothing with that magnet. Those are rare earth magnets, so that is definitely decent grade stainless. However, looking along here, I can see some rust. Now, it's either rust or that may just be some kind of water they got in here. But either way, it's not something you want to see with a stainless product. Trust me, I work in stainless steel fabrication. Yep, that's why. Those rivets right there are steel. And actually, now that I put my magnet on here, I'm getting just a little bit of pull. So while this may be stainless, it's probably a low-grade stainless. And there's the burner. I gotta say, that is a nice tip there. It looks like that was machined solely for this purpose. And that looks like that is brass, which is nice because that's not going to rust or corrode. And here we have probably a fire brick. This probably goes on the bottom of the forge, if I had to guess, or the furnace. Here is our crucible. Wow, that's a lot heavier than I thought it would be. And that is quite large. I mean, that can take an awful lot of material. All right, so there's the unboxing portion. Now the next step is to add refractory cement. I know a lot of people don't add refractory cement to their furnaces. I am not sure why. Refractory cement serves two purposes. The first is obviously to increase the efficiency of your furnace or forge. And if you'd like, you can go back into my other videos and look at my Hell's Forge setup video. But the other reason is the wool blanket, or the blankets that they use to insulate these guys, are made out of silica. And when you fire these up, you may not realize it, but you are burning some of that material. And that silica goes into the air, you breathe it in, and it will poison your body. It will damage your lungs. Covering this with refractory cement will prevent that. So we're going to get some refractory cement, coat this thing, set it up, and then fire it up. So for the next step in prepping our furnace, we're going to be trying something I've never done before. I found something called this ceramic fiber rigidizer. What I'm hoping this will do is make this stuff a little bit more firm, so that if I were to bump it while using it, like with the crucible or something else, the Hellcat refractory material isn't going to crack. I've had problems with it cracking on my forge, so I'm hoping this will eliminate the problem. Now, it does say that this stuff is toxic. They recommend wearing gloves, so we're going to be doing all that good stuff. Now, again, I'm not sure how much this material or how much of this solution we should be using. I'm guessing it's not going to take much, but we'll see. So I'm hoping this just adds some rigidity to this stuff so that when we do put the Hellcat refractory material on, that it does not break as easy if I were to, say, bump it for whatever reason. Well, as you can see, I've got this entire thing just about soaked, and there's still probably about 100 milliliters in there, so it looks like 300 is plenty for you folks at home. Our stiffener has had a chance to dry. Now, as I applied this and was letting it dry, I noticed that a lot of it seemed to kind of seep down to the bottom, and it just took a long time to dry on the bottom. I just took it outside, had it facing the wind, and it dried in a matter of hours. So keep that in mind when you go to apply the stiffener yourself. The next step is to add our refractory mix. Now, I got this Hellcat 3000 mix, and I have used this in my forge here at home, my Hell's Forge. It's been a very good refractory mix. A couple keynotes before we mix this. One, I'm only going to use about half a bag, because I don't think I need a full amount of this to coat this entire thing. You want about a 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch to coat it. Now, I've noticed a 1/16 of an inch is probably a little bit too thin. I actually do need to recoat my Devil's Forge. It has cracked in a few places and fallen off. So I would go with the 1/8 of an inch thickness. Also, the best way to apply this, in my opinion, is just with your hands. It makes it really easy to kind of smooth it out. You don't want a lumpy finish on this. You want a nice smooth finish. And lastly, the consistency, when you mix this, you want what they say about a milkshake consistency. The first time I did it, I actually did it a little bit thinner, and it worked out okay. I wish I would have done it thicker, so I'm going to go by what the manufacturer recommends. So this stuff, they recommend you do not inhale when it's in its dried form. You want to wear a dust mask. So we're going to use about half of this mix. And see how far that gets us. I'm hoping that'll do roughly the entire I'm just going to mix this with a paint stick. Here's just some plain ordinary tap water. We'll start by adding a little bit at a time, mixing it until we get to our desired consistency. If you have a whisk you can throw away to use for this, that might work even better. All right, that's good enough for now. I'm going to do my best here to kind of show you guys what I'm doing, but it's going to be kind of hard. But I think what we'll do, we'll start off with the lid first. You can see I already have it taped off. We're just going to apply this directly by hand. Just going to kind of roll it on here. Work it down into all those little crevices. That's what it worked back. Now, one thing you can do as well is if it looks a little too thick, just take a little bit of water in your glove. Just run right over it. It's just like working clay. Just kind of helps smooth and even everything out. Don't want to use a lot of water, otherwise this is going to add to your drying time. Onto this guy, and I'm avoiding the opening that the gas comes into. And that goes on real nice. I have to say that stiffener definitely makes a difference. So now I'm just going over everything one more time with a little bit of water to make sure that refractory material has a nice smooth finish. So it's been 24 hours. The Hellcat now has dried and it's pretty firm. Now you don't want to push down hard on this because it does have some give still and it can break and crack. So we're going to go ahead, take our burner and install it. So now what we need to do now is we need to cure this completely. So what we're going to do is we're going to light this, let it burn for 3 minutes, and then shut it off. Crack our propane tank, turn on our regulator. And that regulator is just slightly cracked, and that flame looks pretty good. As you can see, nice rich blue flame. Let's go ahead and cover this. And let's go ahead and let that cure for 3 minutes. There is quite a bit of vapor coming off of this. I'm assuming that it's from the Hellcat that is still probably a little bit wet in some places. All right, that's about the 3 minute mark. Let's go ahead and shut her down. And we're going to let this cool down by itself for a few minutes before we open it up and look at it. All right, this is cooled off for about a good 3-4 minutes. Let's go ahead and take this lid off and see how this guy looks. Ah, very nice. Look at that. So now the instructions indicate that we need to let this cool for about 3 hours before we use it again. I think what I'm going to do is put this lid back on and let this slowly cool by itself for a little bit longer. Then eventually I'll take it off and let it cool for the whole 3 hours. Next is the crucible. Next, we put the crucible in the oven at 500 degrees for 1 hour. It won't smoke or smell bad, so you can go ahead and put this in your oven at home. This is to remove any water that may be inside of it to prevent it from steaming and exploding inside the furnace. So now on to the next step. The next step is to go ahead and bring this crucible up to a cherry red temperature. This will be the final step in tempering this crucible. These are hand forged tongs made by yours truly. Let's go ahead and throw those in. Ooh, these are just small enough. Those actually might need to be adjusted a little bit. Cover her up. Let's just take a quick peek at it. Oh yeah. Wow, that's nice. We're gonna leave that lid on there. We're just going to let that cool down nice and slow, probably over the course of the next half hour or so. Okay, I let this cool down inside the melter for about 10 minutes, but this thing is so well insulated, it actually didn't begin to cool down at all. So we're going to go ahead and take it out. I'm just going to let these tongs warm up for a second so that I don't shock this thing. I don't want it to shatter. There we go. And these tongs just barely fit in here, but they do. So there we go. There is our tempered crucible. That is still red hot down there in the center. So again, we're just going to let everything here cool down before we move or touch anything. Okay, so for this melt, we're going to be trying these guys, pop tabs. Now I've been told that these tabs have a higher aluminum concentration than the actual cans themselves, but it's probably still going to take a lot. Now I have never melted down metal in this form. These are to be my ingots right here. I just got done treating these in the same way I treated this guy. So this will be kind of a guessing game. So there we go. We're going to give the whole setup a try here. A quick note on propane. Propane does burn and consume oxygen in the area. So if you're doing this inside somewhere, open all the windows, open the garage door, everything. You cannot do this in an enclosed space. If you do, you do risk the possibility of oxygen deprivation. You'll get terrible headaches. You'll feel terrible. If you get to that point, shut everything off, open the doors, go somewhere else, and just rest and recover for a while. We're at about the 10-minute mark, and I just want to mention the ridiculous amount of PPE I'm wearing. I'm wearing a heat-resistant jacket, welder's gloves, safety glasses, and a face shield. As you can see, the aluminum has actually started to pull away from the sides here. Looks like we're fairly melted pretty well here. I'm going to take this, kind of see if I can stir it around. Yeah, we're getting pretty molten there. This looks like we're just about there. See, that has melted down significantly to almost nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few pieces of aluminum to increase the mass that I have in there to melt down. Two more little guys. Okay, we're at about the 15-minute mark. You can see those pieces that I put in just starting to melt down. Now, I did increase the velocity of this by increasing the amount of propane going in. That seems to be doing the job. You can actually see the aluminum pooling up in there. We'll give this a few more minutes to melt down. Then we'll try to remove any slag we can, add the borax, and then do our pour. Okay, so quite literally after I shut the camera off, I decided to stir this with a round rod, and lo and behold, everything was melted. So now what I'm going to try and do is try and get some of the slag out of here. See all this kind of gunk coming out of here. Even though it's been in here forever, just won't melt. That would be the slag. Now, we're going to add the borax. I'm not really sure how. Here's our borax. I'm going to sprinkle that in there, and that should help draw out any nasty stuff that's in there. All right, here we go. I do dangerous stuff like this for a living, but I'm not going to lie, I am a hair nervous about this. All right, here we go. All right, look at that. We're actually a little bit short. Now, we want to make sure we clean this out ASAP. I want to get all that crud out of there, otherwise it'll never come out. What'll probably happen is that this thing will be for aluminum only. All right, I think that's all we can do for now. I'll go ahead and let everything cool down. We'll see how it looks. Okay, now in my haste to get this going, I did neglect to preheat these molds. Now, whether or not that's going to make a difference, I am not sure. Nor am I really sure how hot this is going to be. This has been cooling for a few minutes, but let's see what happens here. That popped right out. Beautiful. That popped right up too. That is, whew, that is very hot. Very, very hot. Thank goodness I'm wearing these heavy-duty insulated welding gloves. I felt the heat through that. Wow, that ingot there looks almost perfect. That is gorgeous. Well, looks like thankfully, not forgetting to preheat these molds didn't mess anything up. We'll let these guys cool down some more and we'll take a closer look at them. There you have it. There's the Gongyi melting furnace. I gotta say, I am very happy with this purchase. I would definitely recommend it to someone else who's looking into getting into casting or just melting down scrap metal as a hobby. There's lots of guys and gals that do that on YouTube. I mean, you can't argue with the results. I mean, that is a beautiful little ingot right there. Very happy with that. There will be a link in the description to these molds. I did have to buy these separate. They did not come with the Gongyi. However, the crucible that you saw did. So the actual unit itself, the burner, the crucible, as well as those tongs all come with it. I had to purchase the Hellcott refractory material myself. There will be a link to that in the description as well. And looks like that's it for this video. So thank you for watching, everyone. Please do all that great stuff. Give me those thumbs ups. Give me those subscribes, please. And thank you for watching. Work hard, guys. Stay humble.